you even know who you're talking to? I'm the wife of the owner of Joe's, and I can't stand this employee here. Hold up, let's rewind for a little bit. How did we get here? My parents own a little restaurant where we sell snacks, cakes, candies, and various fast foods. It was named after my grandparents, so let's just call it Joe's. Whenever I get free time, I usually hang out there with my friends. We pay for our food, which encourages my friends to do the same. I earn money by working at Joe's, especially on weekends when it gets busy. My duties include serving people and taking orders. Yes, we do have employees, but my dad allows me to keep the tip money, which customers give after eating. Additionally, he also pays me for the hours I work. My parents, who are the actual owners, also work there themselves, but people often tend to think of them as employees. One weekend, a woman in her 30s or 40s entered with her bratty kid, who I suppose was around 13 years old. Since it was a busy day, she was told to sit on one of the waiting chairs. Around 20 minutes later, a table was ready for her. I went to take her orders, possibly a sandwich or something, and then proceeded to the kitchen to relay her order. While I was standing near the register, her child was running around, screaming, and causing a nuisance by stepping on people's feet and touching their food. The mother seemed indifferent, engrossed in her phone. I was very annoyed by this, so I held the kid by his hand while he was running, asking him not to run around in a pretty harsh voice. The kid started crying and ran back to his mother, who was fuming. She stomped over to me, and the following conversation ensued. "How dare you touch my child?" Me. "He was running around and was annoying other people. Didn't you see he was touching their food?" Entitled mother. "Well, he's a child. He can do whatever he wants to do." Me. "Well, yeah, but not under my supervision." Entitled mother, now getting a little more angry. "Do you even know who I am?" Anticipating what was coming, I decided to play along. Me. "No, ma'am, I don't." "Well, then, you should know. I am the wife of the owner, and you have made a huge mistake. I will make sure your face will never be seen here again because you're getting fired." I said, "Ma'am, I don't think you even know his—" She cuts me off. Entitled mother. "His name is—" Surprised that she knows my dad's name, I say sarcastically, "Ma'am, I'm very sorry. I acted rudely towards your son, but please don't get me fired. It's the only job that I have." The mother interrupted me again and went to the register to ask for the manager. When my dad came out and listened to her complaint, he was unfazed. The woman was taken aback when my dad refused to fire me, and she declared, "Do you even know who you're talking to? I'm the wife of the owner of Joe's, and I can't stand this employee here." Seeing my dad's grin, she became enraged. "Why are you laughing? I'm serious." My dad politely replied, "I'm telling you again, I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused. Would you like to have a refund?" The woman, still in total rage mode, said, "You know what? I'm calling my husband and complaining about you and your employer," she blurted out. "We'll get back to you and we'll get you fired." Now, the way she had managed to get my dad's phone number was a peculiar one. We had his number displayed on a board outside of our business, Joe's, as we offered home delivery service. Customers would call that number, place their order, and we'd drop it off at their doorstep. So she ended up dialing that phone number, and my dad's phone rang. Karen, the entitled mother, was completely shocked when he picked up the phone. "Hello, this is the owner of Joe's," he answered. "How can I help you?" As he spoke, Karen's face went from red to complete white, as if all the blood had been drained from her face. He then said, "Yes, I am the owner and the manager of Joe's, and you are in no way my wife. Furthermore, the employee you want to be fired is my daughter." She looked at me, and I just could not hold back my laughter anymore. Just then, her order was ready, but by that time, she was already embarrassed enough. The whole time, her kid was crying in the background. She ended up dragging her crying kid by the arm, didn't even take the order, and left. We still have a great laugh about it to this day.
Story 2. And entitled Karen demands that I leave a water park simply because I have tattoos on my body, claiming that I'm trying to sway her kids and corrupt the children around me into getting tattoos for themselves. Things get so bad that she even tries to get a security guard to throw me and my friends out of this park. Here's what happened. So, since it has started to warm up, me and some of my friends, all 19 to 22 years old, decided to go on a road trip. We decided the appropriate thing to do is to go to a water park, as well as a theme park that were right next to each other, and just spend a few days out there for spring break. So we get the theme park out of the way first and have a good time, and then a few days later we head to the water park. So here's the thing, it's a water park, so obviously I'm gonna have my shirt off for a large amount of the time. I also happen to have a few tattoos, not to the point where my whole body is essentially covered, but I do have a good amount. I have one on my wrist that is barely even noticeable, which is some Japanese writing. The other one is on my other wrist, and it's kind of hard to explain, but it basically wraps around my wrist and has some lines crossing out of it. It's way better than it sounds, I swear. The third and final one is the most noticeable one since it is a big back tattoo of a cross. Anyways, we get there, and the first day goes really well. It's a huge water park, so we obviously want to ride all of the slides. So I'm walking back to our table from the bathroom, and when I'm almost there, this lady, looking like she's in her mid-40s, walks up and actually stops me. And this is the entitled Karen of the story. I'm a bit confused, so I just wait a minute before saying, "Yeah, can I help you?" And she immediately says that she has kids here, and she doesn't want to see that. And when she said that, I did not know what she's referring to and was kind of hoping that nothing was sticking out of my shorts. This entitled Karen then immediately points to one of my tattoos on my wrist. She says, "I don't want to see that." I respond to her by saying, "My tattoo, is there anything wrong with it?" She says, "Yes, this is a place for kids and I don't want you influencing them to get one of those things." So I'm not really annoyed, I'm just confused since this is a place where like 90% of the people have their shirts off, and at least a few of them will have tattoos of some kind. So I tell her just that. "Ma'am, this is a public place and everyone has their shirt off. A good amount of them probably have some tattoos as well." Now, as you could probably guess, she just completely ignores everything that I just said and tells me to put a shirt on, which I obviously just say, "No, I'm not going to do that." She then tells me to put one on or she's going to call security. So I tell her, "Okay, go ahead and do that." And to my surprise, she walks off. I go back to my table and I sit down with my friends, and they were literally watching everything go down, and I am a bit nervous since even though I know I wasn't in the wrong, I still didn't want to get in trouble with security. About 5 minutes later, when my friends and I go to another slide, she comes running up to us with a security guard right behind her. She turns to this security guard and tells him that I wasn't supposed to have my tattoos out in the open. He was just as confused as I since he didn't see anything wrong and she didn't specify it was about the tattoos. He asked her what she was talking about and she gets even more mad, points at my tattoos and says, "Those right there, that's what I'm talking about." He asked her what was wrong with it, and she goes off on both of us saying how I shouldn't have those in a kid's place and she doesn't want her kids seeing this. The security guard turns to me and my friends and apologizes for her and tells her to stop bothering me. Realizing she was not winning, the entitled Karen eventually storms off. I continue my trip with all of my friends, and thankfully, even though I saw this Karen a few more times in the park, I didn't have to deal with her or her horrible attitude ever again. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for today. Let us know in the comments what you think of these Karens. Did they have a point? See you in the next one.